Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Great League Remix Cup. We are going to have here a little bit of a simpler video again because this cup wasn't announced at all the way we usually have it. We didn't know the ban list until the cup was live. And so now we have the rankings on PE Poke, and I wanted to make a fast video, kinda not waiting for hours again, just to make graphics for the background, to update you basically on some teams that I would recommend you to run, because this cup is actually really cool. I think this cup is fantastic. It's usually one of the best Great League metas. And so today we're going to take a look at top 10 teams here. Again, like the way I had it when my PC broke, where I don't have graphics for it, but I'm gonna still show you in PE Poke and we talk about it, and we're gonna talk about the meta here as well. So, I already made a quick Great League Remix Cup video earlier on already for like the Greninja team. Here are the Pokemon that are going to be not allowed. Not allowed are going to be Blastoise, Primeape, Marowak, Azumarill, Dunsparce, Scizor, the Galarian Coaster, the Altaria, the Credilli, Dusclops, Empoleon, Bastion, Gastrodon, Togekiss, Stunfisk, Talonflame, Dedenne, Corviknight, and the Annihilape. And so we have a completely new meta because the main idea behind the Great League Remix Cup is to ban the top 20 Pokemon. And so, which Pokemon left still? Carbink is one of them. Carbink is the number 1 spot here for this current meta. Araquanid, interestingly enough, is the number 2 Pokemon here, which we may want to take a look at as well, being very high up here because there's great matchups against like one of the other Pokemon here. For example, against Diggersby you're great, against the Swidus you're great. Against a lot of the other Pokemon lower down, you're going to actually have very, very good matchups with the Araquanid. You're very, very neutral with them as well, which is kind of cool. Otherwise, you're going to see something like Forretress. We're going to have a team here later on. Definitely stay tuned for that one as well. We have a very goofy moveset on that Forretress. Not what you would really expect, but I think it's going to be a fun moveset to run in this current meta, so definitely stay tuned for that. We have some more toxic Pokemon that are coming up, and there are going to be 2 teams, I think, that I would consider toxic for this video today. This is the best team video. I would hide something from you if I wouldn't say that toxic teams are actually very good in this current meta, sadly. Wigglytuff is going to be one of those best Pokemon with it as well. We have some other more neutral Pokemon like Furret down there, and generally you have a list of a lot of Pokemon that are going to be great. One Pokemon that stands out to me a lot, and this is going to be something that you're going to see in most of the teams here today, is Tinkaton. Tinkaton is amazing in this meta. There's next to no hard answer to this Pokemon. Tinkaton is epic. If you don't have a Tinkaton build yet, but you have the Pokemon itself, build it. Even with bad IVs, it's going to be amazing for this meta. Dusknoir is going to be one of those ghost types that still survived, as Dusclops and Clodsire got banned. Like, this one of the few ghost types that still exist here. Komos, one of the best, is actually the best fire type Pokemon that still exists, as Primeape and Annihilape got banned. Golisopod is going to be back here again as well. We have Moltres still being around here, which is an interesting one that most likely people would have expected being banned here. Murkrow is still around. And yeah, this is going to be it for this meta. Let's move on to team number 1. We're going to have a Carbink team, of course. We're going to have Carbink, Golisopod, and Moltres. This team has one big weakness, 2 big weaknesses. I know, like you have one big weakness to be fair. We're going to have not the Carbink. Carbink itself is alright. Carbink, you have your own Carbink, you have Awkward Jet on the Golisopod, like you're okay against it. Not the best matchup generally, but you're okay against it. You have the neutral matchup in the lead, you have the Golisopod there, as it says up, it baits them out and still hits them hard. So like, I think you're alright against Carbink. I don't think this is an issue. There's one issue here, which is Tinkaton. Tinkaton is going to be a bit of an issue for this team. Yeah, even Clodsire here is alright. Like, this is not an issue. Like, Golisopod is fine against it, Moltres is fine against it. Tinkaton is a bit awkward, yeah. Golisopod still has an okay matchup against Tinkaton. This is actually not bad at all for it, like whatsoever, like it's really not bad. But the issue is here that just generally Carbink and Moltres don't really like to face it. At the end of the day, with Team Effort, you're always going to be able to get rid of this Pokemon anyway as well. But there's no great solution towards this problem here. As you see as well, Clodsire, Carbink, Tinkaton. Tinkaton is the only Pokemon that I'm really worried about here with this team. I guess Steelix can be a bit tricky as well. But yeah, you could have a ground type Pokemon in the back, but then you're going to open up yourself against some of the, what's called the grass type Pokemon. You're going to have then a weakness to it. So the only Pokemon that I thought would be kind of maybe worth mentioning here might be Nidoqueen as an alternative in the back instead of the Galarian Moltres. It is going to leave you weak though as well, again, to ground type Pokemon as well, which is going to make you ABA weak to that. So you have a Venusaur as an alternative, but Venusaur again is going to be a bit more awkward against the Tinkaton. So it's always a little bit more awkward there. I do think that Venusaur or Nidoqueen would have some potential here though. That's something I want to note. Golem could even have some potential with it as well. Then again, being weak to water, and grass. But it is what it is. I still think it's going to be a good core. Like, you need to kind of, like, Carbink in the lead is going to be amazing, as you're going to see here as well. But yeah, we're going to have more teams as well with this Pokemon later on here. Araquanid is going to be next. Araquanid is going to be next here for this team. By the way, for the other team as well, you got to have the option of Swidus, Murkrow, Gastrodon in the back as well. I have like notes on the side as well that I wrote down for the teams, which I usually just talk about or put on my graphics. But yeah, for the second team, Araquanid lead. Again, Araquanid as a number 2 spot, we kind of had to talk about it. What is the big weakness of this Pokemon? Rock type and flying type Pokemon. Both of which are going to be beaten by Steel type. What is the weakness of Steel type Pokemon? Fire type Pokemon and Fighting type Pokemon. Both of which are going to be beaten by the Araquanid. So you have a combination here that's really, really good together. Just a generally full stop. Steelix as a Say-Stop has a lot of pressure in this current meta. There are ground type Pokemon around, of course, that's going to be a bit more awkward for that Steelix. Of course, Araquanid is the best answer to any ground type Pokemon currently here, which is kind of cool. Other than, I guess, the Gligar, which I don't think is going to be super common. But yeah, Steel is going to be great as a Say-Stop, but Jirachi actually in the back is going to be very cool here because you have Doom Desire, which is going to be able to do so much damage against Carbink, completely walling this Pokemon. And you of course have great coverage as well with this thing here. And of course the Fairy type weaknesses you're going to have as well with the Araquanid, but because Bug Bite is going to be resisted there. You want to be able to also kind of counter out with the Jirachi as well, being able to counter them. And here this team has apparently Amoonguss and Turtonator as the weaknesses. Turtonator I can see it slightly, but I don't think the Turtonator is going to be a Pokemon that's going to be very common in this meta. And I feel like you're still going to find a way of beating it, because you're going to still have a Araquanid, which can just play out the matchup, and then you're going to have Jirachi with a fast move pressure that can still deal a lot of damage against it. So I don't think that all hope is lost here as well for that. I think it's still going to be a good Pokemon to run like this. Wigglytuff, Quagsire, and Claydol is going to be next. This is going to be an interesting team here as well. This is going to be a team where we are going to see the Forretress is going to be maybe a bit of a weakness there, but it's honestly not really going to be that bad. Forretress is going to be very neutral against the Pokemon here. Against Claydol, you can also use other Mudslappers. Here, this is just a general idea behind Mudslappers. You can also run something like the Shadow Golurk here, which also would make a lot of sense, maybe even more sense for this team itself, as Quagsire is going to allow you to bait out those flying type Pokemon while still having Stone Edge, and maybe even Golurk is the better Pokemon in the back. All of those options kind of work out as well. You can also use a Say-Swap of the Claydol and this Pokemon in the back and the Golurk in the back. But Wigglytuff in general is a very good Pokemon in this meta. That here only the weakness of this team is Venusaur, which I doubt you're going to see a lot. Oranguru I think is a good Pokemon. I think Oranguru is a Pokemon that I should showcase as well. It's a Pokemon that got a big buff with the season with Confusion, and already the coverage that it has was really, really good. So maybe I'm going to take a look at this one, getting completely walled by Venusaur. But yeah, this is going to be a very good team here, for sure. It's a toxic team. This is one of the toxic teams. There are two toxic teams that I have here today, I think. Next up, we're going to have Lapras, Gligar, and the Tinkaton. This is going to be an interesting one here as well. We're going to have Lapras in the lead, being more of a neutral Pokemon, Gligar being more of an interesting Say-Swap for this meta, and Tinkaton in the back, again, is one of the best Pokemon that you can run. Basically, Lapras, weak to mainly Carbink. Carbink is what you kind of want to counter. You have Gligar that is supposed to try to bait out whatever they have in the back and get the Carbink out of the lead matchup. Because you have a ground type Pokemon and a lot of people just panic and stop out. This is still not the best matchup against Carbink. You can play it out because you have still Dig towards it, but it's not the best matchup generally. You have Tinkaton for this matchup at the back. And so basically Lapras Tinkaton is a perfect combination. Again, Tinkaton being weak to like those fire type Pokemon that Lapras can beat, Lapras being weak to those fire type Pokemon that Tinkaton can beat. Like those work really well together. Also even the dark type Pokemon, Psywave is resisted. But yeah, those work really well together. And in the middle you just need some glue. Gligar is one of the potential options. There are going to be more options that you can run for as well. In this meta, Glisspot maybe would work out. And then I have double electric type weakness though. But yeah, Gligar works out quite well here. And yeah, Venusaur apparently is again one of the biggest weaknesses, which I doubt if you have super effective coverage on two of the Pokemon, and one of the other Pokemon is going to be able to resist everything of that Pokemon there. Dusknoir, Forretress, and Tinkaton. Here I don't have my goofy moveset yet, even though I could go for it, but yeah, we'll just have the standard moveset here for Forretress for now. You can go for different movesets as well. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. Dusknoir is one of the only ghost type survivors, as we saw already in the meta analysis. This Pokemon is one of the only ones that still exist here in this meta, and if we rate the team, we're going to see that it's actually very, very solid. But again, Tinkaton in the back is going to be one of the best Pokemon that you can run with it. If you don't have Tinkaton here for this team, you can run Gastort, you can run Xylus, you can run even go for your Murkrow or whatever. This all kind of would work out. The best thing though about Tinkaton is that you have a better matchup against Wigglytuff, which is going to be something that you maybe want to have, which you wouldn't have with those dark type Pokemon. And that is where Tinkaton kinda is unique in what it can do. Yes, you can go for Mawile and Klefki in order to have the same typing, but you don't have the same bulk. You don't have the same coverage that you need. And so this is going to be, again, a fantastic team. No, Turtonator is not going to be destroying my dreams here again as well. Turtonator is going to most likely use against Dusknoir, and the two shit again and again, it has Brutal Swing now. So it's going to be an interesting matchup there. Maybe Turtonator is going to take over the meta. Who knows? We're going to have a Turtonator team later on though as well still, which is going to be the team after this one. But we're going to have Golurk here, we have the Wigglytuff and the Carbink. This is my second toxic team here for today. This is going to be it for the toxic teams as well. But again, it's more of a mirror, like the reverse version of the team number 4 there. Or team number 3 actually. This is going to be something we have to talk about, because this is just going to be something that you're going to see along the way, because what the hell is going on here? This team is absolutely busted. Like what? Like what do you want to do here? Like the weakness is again a Venusaur apparently, which again is going to most likely do against Golurk and the 2 shields. Golurk itself, which is not going to have, like, it's neutral against our lead and neutral against a Wigglytuff and a Rangoro. This is going to be the weaknesses of this team. Crazy, isn't it? It's amazing. Like, this team is going to be super fantastic for you. It will be working super well for you. I like this team more than team number 3, personally. I like when you have the Golurk there in the lead with all the pressure and all the shields still. But yeah, it's going to be an amazing team. Wigglytuff is a stays up here, by the way, having also coverage for those flying type Pokemon that you kind of don't want to face with the Golurk. And of course, coming in the back as a fairy type that can also destroy those flying type Pokemon. It makes a lot of sense. This team is fantastic. Again, Tinkaton, you're not going to really get rid of this tier today. There are a lot of teams with Tinkaton. Tinkaton is, in my opinion, one of the best Pokemon in this meta, maybe a little bit even underrated. Furret is going to be a Pokemon that's also allowed here and very, very strong. And Turtonade in the back, I want to make a Turtonade team. Yes, this team can struggle against Ground-type Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, Ground-type Pokemon, as you see as well with Nidoqueen, are going to be double super effective there. But we have Furret, which is neutral. We have Tinkaton, which can play out matchups in the current meta as well. We don't really have that much. Turtonade is going to be a Pokemon, though, which you see as well, that is very situational. Well, it looked like it was a very top core breaker for like the teams that you had before. It actually looks very much mid here, like just situational being good and not really good otherwise. So I'm not too sure about Turtonade there as well. If you don't want to have Turtonade, what you can go ahead and as well is you can go for Murkrow. Murkrow works out quite well here, being able to deal now with Ground-type Pokemon, which you had the weakness in earlier with this team, way better. And that's kind of what it is. This is a very solid team here, and we can move on to the next team, which is actually an early legend team from this meta, which is from King OWT. Shout to you. We're going to have the Gyarados, Shadow, we have the Drapion, Shadow, and we have the normal Alolan Sandslash. Not too sure if they're going to run here the Potosnow or the Shadow Claw on this Pokemon. Let's make our own mind up here, because I'm going to take a look now at the meta and at this team here itself, generally. What do you want? Against Forretress, you want Shadow Claw. Against Swidus, you want the Ice move, but again, you're going to most likely win this matchup anyway. Against Carbink, it doesn't really matter. Against Diggersby, Ice is better. I feel like Ice maybe is actually the better move to go for, but let's take a look here again real quick at the Sandslash itself and see on what changes if we have Potosnow. Potosnow is going to also allow you to just generally do some better damage against, like, I don't know, like some of the flying type Pokemon here, and generally it looks very similar. Where I think the Shadow Claw might be actually kind of nice here for this team is going to be in the Lapras matchup, where you're going to do neutral damage, where it kind of matters for sure, but otherwise, both versions I think going to work. I don't think that's really a winner here at all, but this team is definitely very strong. Again, King OWT was able to hit a legend with this team, and we're going to move on to team number 9, where we kind of want to try to utilize Fearo's coverage. Fearo is a Pokemon that got buffed this season, a very strong Pokemon that works out quite well with Diggersby or any ground-type Pokemon in the lead. You can run different ground-type Pokemon. You can even use something different than Charizard in the back. Charizard I just used because I thought it was a funny flying-type Pokemon, and there are quite a few flying-type Pokemon that you have an option. Of course, Murkrow we saw already, but you're gonna see here there are a lot of flying-type Pokemon you can set up with that Fearo. You can even go for Togetic if you want to go for that fairy and flying typing. I had actually first Gyarados in this team in the back, which also would work out maybe even better than Charizard. Not giving it that weakness to those water-type Pokemon. Sorry, I took off. But as you can see here, this team looks really cool. Charizard is going to be kind of good against the toxic Pokemon. He has like Wigglytuff as well, which is kind of funny. And Fearo's just going to be the glue in between. Fearo's supposed to be the glue in between a flying and a ground-type Pokemon in order to kind of combine them together. And this is just mainly your say-stop. This is all that it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to destroy the entire meta. It's supposed to bait out something like a Carbink and still hit it quite hard with a Drill Run, maybe forcing it to go for a charge move. That is the play of Fearo. And that is all that Fearo is supposed to do. And so here, there is no real hard answer to this team from what I've seen. There is nothing really where I'm like, okay, we cannot deal with that. That's gonna be completely difficult for us. The worst, I guess, is going to be Gyarados in the scenario here. But again, as I said before, I actually had Gyarados myself in first, and then you're going to have all of a sudden your neutral matchup, most likely a better matchup than also what we had here already with that Charizard, and as you can see, it works out even better for the Diggersby. It's just the alternative option here that I usually have on my videos all the time. Final team here is whether you have the goofy moveset of the Forretress. How about Forretress with a Volt Switch, Heavy Slam, and Rock Tomb? Why? It's quite simple. As you're going to take a look here down below, we have Como in the lead, by the way, the only but fighting type Pokemon. It's going to allow you to hit DSP for better damage and some of the other Pokemon here as well. I think Como is very, very good, especially in a core together with Tinkaton, as you see as well. They kind of combine each other quite well. Tinkaton being weak to mainly fire type Pokemon, you're going to be able to counter with the Como. Como being weak to fire type Pokemon, you can counter with the steel typing of that Tinkaton. Anyway, Forretress in the middle. Look at this. Like, Forretress is going to be able to basically deal damage against nearly everything here, other than DSP. DSP is going to be a Pokemon that, of course, is going to be difficult for you. But at the end of the day, if you get DSP out with a Forretress like this, you're going to be able to at least have your Tinkaton safe in the back. That's something that is good knowledge there. And also, this team is amazing as well. This is 10 teams now that are all very, very good in this meta. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I know, not fancy graphics, but I want to get this out around, like, yeah, my time right now. And I didn't want you to wait for longer for it. So, hope you understand this well, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.